Howdy everybody, and welcome back to another 3D Hangout. I'm Noe Pedro Ruiz, designer here at Adafruit. Joining me every week, Mr. Pedro.
What's going on, everybody? I'm Pedro Ruiz, creative tech here at Adafruit, and every week we come to share 3D printed projects featuring electronics from Adafruit.
That's right, this is where we combine 3D printing and DIY electronics to make inspirational projects for folks. Folks.
This is episode 115.
Yep. We want to welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining us live. Today's coupon code, we have one. It's ESP weather. We are feeling under the weather. We're getting over a little bit of a flu cold thing, but we'll survive. Everybody knows it happens.
Yeah. I think it started off with Brandy and Gavin, and then migrated over to you. It's finally my turn.
I feel like I was sick 2 months ago. I guess that's sort of the benefits of having little ones at the house. So, welcome everybody again. Thank you so much for joining us. Again, ESP Weather, that's this week's project.
Mm-hmm. It'll
ESP Weather.
It'll work on everything except software and gift certificates. So if you want to pick up some printers, filament, and of course all of the electronic boards that bring your projects to life, go ahead and take advantage of that.
Yep, we still have some free deals going on, folks. If you spend certain amounts of monies, we give you free stuff. Mm-hmm. So if you want to check out the website, which is over here, we have some free deals going on. So if you go to adafruit.com/free, you can get all the details on it. I think for $100 or more, we get you limited time edition pins. I don't have one. It's so limited, I don't even have one. For $200 or more, you get free shipping in the U.S. continental U.S. Some restrictions apply, yada, yada, yada.
And of course, because the holidays are coming up, you do want to get your orders in quick. Near the end of the year, we are completely sold out of everything. And
I apologize.
Shipments, deadlines.
Yep.
Got to keep an eye on those. The absolute last day to get something
I think
by
the 23rd.
23rd, yeah.
But that's like overnight, and you got to pay some money for that one. Mm-hmm. So try to get it in now if you are planning on doing some holiday gift stuff.
Yeah, so for UPS ground, you want to get it in before December 9th to make sure it comes in on time.
Yep. All right, there's Adabot. Cools. Let's go back into the tunnel and back out here.
All right. Shout out to all the people in the chat room. Thank you for joining in. If you have some questions, you can post them in there. And if it's relevant to what we're talking about, we'll quickly answer them. But quick shout out to Anthony Meyer, Yanis, Ryder, Stuart, Philip Moyer,
Tuna Turner,
John.
Hello, everybody.
Thanks for joining in the chat there. Keeping it all lively.
Thank you so much. All right. Do we want to start with the show? I think we got.
Take a look at this week's 3D printer project.
Okie dokie. Let's do that. This week's project seems to be like the killer app for the ESP8266. So this week we put together a quick and simple little project using the ESP8266. This is the Feather version. Is the form factor is like this little microcontroller with the ESP8266. The software was actually written by Daniel Eichhorn. You can check him out. He's on GitHub and he has his own blog. Squix is his name, and he did a lot of great stuff on this project. It's very fully featured. So it has the date, the time, current weather, a 3-day forecast. It even shows you the moon phases. It tells you when the sun is rising, when the sun is setting. So I have not seen a weather station that looks this nice. From a design standpoint, the icons, the font, the typography, this stuff looks really legit. It looks really, really nice. So huge shout out to Daniel for putting that together. He originally started it for an OLED. And even us folks at Adafruit did a couple of weather stations. Here's one that uses the older chipset, the CC3000 chipset, and then we also have one here that used the Huzzah, the sort of original Breakout. This is before the Feather days, so this is a really cool one. It kind of has a simple today forecast and it kind of cycles through tomorrow, and there's some wiring required. So if you look through it, there's a wiring diagram, there's a bit of soldering involved, and a bit of finessing to get the wiring nice and stacking everything together in this nice little package. The benefit of this project is that you plug it in. Now, some people don't like that, but I really liked it from a sort of from two different points of view, from like having to document that. There's no wiring connections. It's awesome. So you literally just snap the two together. So the other awesome product is the TFT Featherwing. This is the 2.4 inch 320 by 240 touchscreen. So it is a touchscreen, but it has a lot of different features. It has a built-in micro SD card. It has a little reset button and a switch in the back, and it has a low profile female header pins, so you can plug in. It works with any feather board, and it also has a second pair so that you can wire things into it, and even has a little soldering pad. So it's really robust. It's got a lot of features in it. Pretty awesome. Of course, uses the ILI chipset that we know and love. So, very cool project. The software, so the way it's pulling weather data is it's actually using the Weather Underground, it's kind of funny, API key. So it's free. You register your account, you sign up with your email, you set yourself a username, password, you know the deal. You can get your API key. They have a free plan. They call it the Stratus plan, which gives you a certain amount of limits with it. But for the most part, it works well for this project. Register API key, obtain your key. In the code, there's a settings.h file. That's where you're going to put your API key. You're going to set your desired language, your state, your country, your state, and your city. So it's kind of formatted like that. So that's why we have it broken out like that. One of the things Lamar did, though, she wrote a little bit of extra code to make it work nicely with the touchscreen. So what it'll do is actually stay awake for a certain amount of time. So here we have it set for 10 seconds, so it'll stay on for 10 seconds, and then it'll turn the screen off. That'll save some power. So we think since it is portable and battery powered, why not save some power? You could, of course, have it plugged in. So this is pretty cool. So when you first upload the code to the board, am I on the right page? Yes, I am. When you upload the code to the board, it'll actually tell you what to do. So the software uses the Wi-Fi Manager library, which is something that works really great with the ESP8266. So it'll make it into a access point. So it'll broadcast. So you literally shows up in your Wi-Fi list available network. It is an open network, so you log into it. You ever log into? You ever go to a hotel with your laptop and you try to log into the Wi-Fi? It brings up a web page. Well, this one does the same thing. That's what the Wi-Fi Manager does. It serves up a web page, and you have an option to configure Wi-Fi. You have the option to kind of scan it or manually enter it. This is what it looks like when you hit the Wi-Fi configure Wi-Fi button. It'll scan through the Wi-Fi's and list them out, and it's really nice. I mean, the layout looks clean, and it's got little icons and stuff. Tells you like the strength of it. Very cool. So you put your credentials in there. You hit save, and it'll automatically save your credentials. And whenever you turn it on or turn it off, it'll remember your Wi-Fi settings. And it's a little interesting the way Daniel wrote this. Is it'll actually pull the icons off his server, so he hosts them himself. But once it does that, it'll save them to the onboard flash of the ESP, and it'll, when you turn it back on or turn it off, it won't do it every time. It'll just skip that and just load them straight off the flash. So this is pretty awesome. So let's take a look at it now over the overhead. I have it on. Yeah. So right now it was sleeping. I just woke it up. So every time you wake it up, it'll pull again the current date, current time, current weather stuff, and that's what it looks like. It looks really awesome. A lot of work went into this, and again, beautiful typography and layout. Great use of the ESP8266. So the enclosure is a really simple two-piece design, and it's awesome to see like the weather stuff. Really cool stuff. Apparently it's going to rain tomorrow. It's been very kind of muggy outside, so is my audio okay?
Yeah.
All right,
just checking.
We don't want any more audio problems, so we double check. So there you go. One thing I did is I added a slide switch in the back over here, so I broke it out. So you're able to do that. I wired some wires to the slide switch, and then cut apart some jumper cables, some male jumper cables, so that I can easily plug them in and out of the female header pins on the back of the screen. There it goes. Turns off. I think I have it set to 10 seconds. Again, you have access to a micro SD card if you do want to like load some images for a different project or something. and then you have the USB here. One of the awesome things about the Feather boards is that they all have built-in charging and a built-in an onboard JST connector, so you can plug in all sorts of batteries. So I have the 2,000 milliamp battery here in the back. It's in there, so nice and clean. I think it's a little chunky, but you know, that's it. So how about we take a look at the CAD stuff real quick. So for the CAD stuff, very straightforward. If you want to reuse the component stuff, feel free to do so. I have a link for it in the description or in the guide. So you know, I modeled most of the things. So there is like a reset button, which is like I kind of like it, kind of don't like it because it's easy to trigger. So when I was designing this, and I kept triggering that, I kept resetting it. But anyway, we have an on and off switch here, and then the micro SD card. The headers are laid out good, but I didn't add any headers to the actual Huzzah component, so it's kind of floating there, but the distance between the two are pretty on par. You could cut the header pins in half to get an even slimmer profile. You'll probably save like 1 or 2 millimeters. Not sure if that's important to you, but it really wasn't for me. Here's the battery kind of slanted at an angle there. In the case itself, you don't need any screws to snap them together because I'm using that, what do you call it, like the sort of snap nubs on the side of the edge, and then there's like dimples in the lip of the cover. So when you snap it together, you get the satisfying snap, and it stays in place, so the tolerances are nice and tight. Yeah, that's it. If you guys want to check it out. Oh, one thing, Fusion is also under the weather. So if you check out, if you're ever wondering if Fusion 360 is down or any other AutoCAD cloud service, you can go to health.autodesk.com, and it gives you a breakdown of what is working, what isn't working. So currently right now, they're experiencing some outage, accessing data, saving and opening and stuff, but you can work offline and pretty much do what I was doing here. So you can still design and work, you're just off the cloud. So I'm gonna hit refresh and see if they updated anything. Nope. And then there's also some scheduled maintenance going on the 17th of December. That's a Saturday, 4 p.m. Not sure if that's Eastern or not. PST. Okay, PST. Anyway, that's just a random tidbit. So again, check out the guide if you are interested in checking this out. Unfortunately, we are out of stock on the main components to get this project going. Oh, that tends to happen a lot, but it's a good problem to have. So we thank you guys so much for doing that. But if you do want to get something else, maybe some NeoPixels or a Feather M0 or something, why not just take advantage of our coupon code, ESP Weather, we'll do it there.
Yeah, you can also click on the Notify Me button so you can get alerted when we get those back in stock.
That's
they're
correct.
quite popular.
Popular.
And again, the near the end of the year is when everything gets sold out. Everybody's panicking, rushing to get gifts for the holiday season. So it's good to go ahead and put your order as soon as it comes back in stock, because they're most likely going to be out as we get closer to the holidays.
Yeah, that is right.
Writer's asking, where are the Fusion 360 model for the boards? So we don't actually have a library of all of the boards separately at the moment, but if you go into the file, you can rip out the boards that you use that for.
Yeah, here's how you would do that. Say you open this up, you download as a, well, right now you can't, but as soon as the cloud services are back up, you can right click on, let's say you want the TFT Featherwing, you can right click on it and hit save as, not STL. Where do you save it? Oh no. I guess you put save as copy, but right now it's grayed out because of reasons, but that's how you would do it. Yeah, so one cool thing that is coming that I'm very thankful for is there's going to be like built-in Eagle integration. So I think what you'll be able to do is just download Lamar's Eagle CAD files, and that will automatically build all the components. So I won't have to redraw all these components all the time. I wrote a blog post about it last week, so that'd be really awesome if we could just take Lamar's, because all of her designs in Eagle CAD are up on GitHub, so you can get those, download them, and then import them directly into Fusion. Not yet, but it's coming. I will definitely be one of the first to let you know when it comes. Hopefully I get a beta or something. Excuse me. Oh, I hope I didn't make anyone go death real quick. So one reason why we haven't done it is just it's kind of a lot to do. among a lot of our other tasks. So I apologize that we don't have it ready to go right now. But most of our projects you can do it. I just showed you. You can open it up in Fusion and then just save out as a copy of just the component itself. Because I tend to create all the components in the design because you kind of want to design around them. Okay. Are you ready for any questions or you want to talk about?
I've been answering. So people wanted to know how to make a snap fit case, and I linked them to the tutorial of your layer by layer. Which
that's a
very
popular
sort
one.
of a break on, but it's very good techniques on creating the little, what are they called? The little
nubs,
edge nubs here. So you can actually make one that's just, you just did on both sides, right?
Yeah, go ahead and take it out.
Let's see if I can do this.
They're on the side, yeah. There you
go. So here are the little nubs that are holding this together. You can see the little notches.
Notches, right, dimples, whatever we want to call them.
And then this little part right here holds it on there. So you can either do like a small little part of it, or you can make it the entire width or radius of the whole case. So we've done both, and it just depends on what sort of the way the case is designed or the use case for it.
For this specific one, the display is flush with the PCB, so I couldn't have a lip around there unless I kind of increase the overall size of it. So I do have this like opening lip for the screen to kind of be flush with it. So it worked out well. Also, the standoffs were kind of in the way of the display, so I kind of had to kind of make some of these little cuts and stuff.
Writer's asking if we can combine the 3D Hangouts code and Ask an Engineer codes to get 20% off. Sorry, no, you can't combine codes. You can use one or the other. But if you want to get your order in, I think it's before 12 o'clock, or is it 11 o'clock before it ships?
Check this out.
Go ahead and use a 3D Hangout
We
code.
somehow glitched it out. It doesn't know where the weather is. It has a little question mark on it.
Oh, wow.
That's kind of interesting. I haven't seen that yet.
So another thing that is very cool about the design of the user interface design for this is every weather station, if you go onto Amazon and search for that, they all have that same blocky digital text, where it's all broken up.
90s,
yeah, nobody has actually been able to make the beautiful font for this. The way that the fonts are all drawn, you can check out the code on the guide for this. It's all, what's it called, the way that he wrote the code for it?
I think it's either hex or binary, because I'm loading it right now actually, so you can take a quick glimpse at it. There are only 2 libraries that you need for it. Everything else is kind of built into the sketch, which is kind of nice. So here it is if you want to take a gander. So the fonts here are bitmap data, so you can see the fonts are rendered like this. It's pretty cool. There's a bold font, and I don't know what the difference between these two are. I guess one's a bigger font and one's a smaller font. Wow. Here's all the stuff for the UI, and again, it's kind of interesting how it pulls the icons from his server. I guess you could change that out if you ever wanted to. So yeah, check it out. Cool. Okay. Well, that's pretty much this week's project. If you guys have any questions about it, go ahead and ask them. We'll gather them up and talk about them as we see them. But for now, why not take a look at what we're working on?
Real quick, yes, Fusion 360 is free for students and businesses making under $100,000.
Yeah.
Comment on Facebook by Mark Steele if you want to check that out. We do have a download link on most of our videos. It'll take you straight to the download for that.
Yeah, I think on all of our videos I try to include our Fusion 360 download. Yeah. So check it out. It's free. Forwarded Squix's code to regular Python. He had it running on his desktop. Right, I was like, wow, that is interesting. So I wonder if you could port that over to MicroPython. This is easily becoming like the hottest ESP weather station.
I think it's a killer app.
Code, yeah.
You can go back, call.
Yeah, Squix doing it up, man. Great stuff.
And then Simon in the chat stopping by saying that he has a really cool idea for the weather station. Very cool. Can't wait to see what you do with that.
Man, yeah. Maybe
some cool cosplay props.
Yeah, maybe some sort of cosplay prop. Or a Pip-Boy or something.
That'd be pretty cool.
Pip-Boy, that'd be cool. Did you see the Pip-Boy was a mug? They made it into a mug.
I did not see that.
I guarantee you it's not dishwasher safe. All right, let's move on to...
What are we prototyping this week's work in project? I think you might, if you follow me on Instagram, you might see me testing out next week's project, which is my shoe. Let me take it off.
Just kidding.
So Phil saw some of the Kickstarters that were on, I think on Facebook or somewhere, where they had these magnetic shoes. They've since been released like on Amazon. But of course, the whole premise of everything that we do here with 3D printing and design is for teaching kids how to design and how to do custom 3D printed projects. And the most handy thing to have a magnetic shoelace is for people who may have like motor problems, or for kids, or if you're just tired of, you know, having to always tie your shoe. Like I know I always, they always become untied even if I do like a double knot.
Yeah, right.
Especially when it's like raining outside and like they get all wet and I'm like, oh great, now I gotta like tie these wet shoes. But this will be next week's project. Super simple, very easy to print like in the classroom for like design curriculum. Because everybody has shoes, you know.
Yeah, you wear them every day.
Everybody has a different size shoes or a different style of shoe, like in terms of the laces. So all of the sketches that build all of the solids for this will be released next week. But just a fun little easy project that takes about, I want to say about half an hour, because you do have to print, you know, obviously 4 of these for each pair. And the neodymium magnets do a really good job of holding these together. Over the weekend, we were at Disney and we were testing these all throughout the parks, just running around, like bending my feet, and they held on really well.
I want to show mine.
Just to show the different styles of the shoes,
Here we go. Sorry if it smells bad, Pedro. Yeah, Pedro printed them for me. So he actually printed them in an engine.
Yeah, so definitely don't recommend using something like PLA for this. It's definitely something you want to use for ABS, or in this case, we use the ColorFab engine to make these. And lots of different type of designs that you can make for these. This is just the most easiest one.
Yeah, I think this is a great, you could sort of approach this in a fun way because it's a problem and you can solve it in a creative way. You can use different type of magnets or different, you can add more holes and change the shape of it. Of course, print it in any color you want. Maybe print it in NinjaFlex or something. So there's a lot of interesting things you can do with it. Again, you're going to wear it all the time. I mean, what else can I say about it? It's a cool, fun project.
Yeah, we'll take a look at the CAD and more.
Very simple,
before.
It's great.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and the way you print it too is another challenge to solve. Like, what's the best orientation for it?
Yeah.
What are the best tolerances for it? You do got to keep in mind that sometimes magnets aren't always the same shape or the same diameters. Some, you might have
or what do they call it? The looplets.
Margin of difference or something. You know what I mean? Like it's off. So we'll talk more about it next week.
Other projects that I'm looking at making while we were at Disney, notice that, especially for the holidays, and if you take a look at the Adafruit channel, you've noticed, watch Tony D's desk. He's been working on a MicroPython holiday lights, and
Tony D.
Everybody has been wearing the very cool little necklace or holiday.
Yeah, these were a hit at Disney. Everybody was wearing these things. So they're not RGB LEDs; they're just regular white LEDs, and then these little
diffusers.
Yeah, these little caps are. They're not. They feel like glass. They sound like glass, but they're just like a hard plastic. And this is what makes them colors. They don't. They're static colors. It's just white. So we took one apart. Here's what the PCB for the LED looks like. It's just paper, phenolic paper, whatever.
Super cool. And the way that they're actually being able to address the LEDs for every other one is they have the wires going to every other LED. So it's just a regular white little, looks like a 3mm LED.
Yeah, the microcontroller in here is epoxied, so we don't know what it is. But yeah, it seems to do some sort of...
So the idea behind this is not to actually recreate these with NeoPixels, because the cost for these are like super cheap. They're like $15. The idea is to remake the diffusers so these could be customized theme for whatever holiday is coming up. Blinky projects at night is always quite popular. So they could, oh man, maybe just remake the diffuser part for this so you can remount this on to the super cheap LED and the whole arrangement of this. I think be the faster, cooler way to approach this as a project. But that's still things that I'm ideating. I don't think I'm gonna make it before the before Christmas, since
yeah, it's a little late.
Yeah, working on projects like last minute is sort of like steering a giant ship, since a lot of our projects are already queued in for next 3 weeks. Another cool one that probably go into the next year is this celebration.
It's a celestial bangle.
Bracelet,
It's on it's on Github. It's from ThinkGeek, so they manufacture this, and nobody else makes it.
Yeah.
it excuse me. It has a couple LEDs in it, and they just kind of flicker on and off, and they have this beautiful looking galaxy graphic on it.
Mm-hmm.
So it gives the illusion that it's like a celestial bangle.
Yeah, so at first I was thinking, oh, okay, I'll dual print this with NinjaFlex and have embed the LEDs inside there, but upon taking a closer look at this, looking at how chunky it is, might be able to do it just not having it completely dual extruded, just having the 3D printed case around it with a couple of sequins or the mini neopixels that we have for that. And if you guys have any ideas for any cosplay sort of character that might wear this, definitely let us know in the comments. But this is something that I'm looking at for a remake of this. I think it's going to be the year of the remake next year, just redoing all of the
do all
projects,
the ThinkGeek stuff.
Exactly. They're quite popular.
Okay.
So another work in progress / ideation of.
Yeah. It's just like, hey, I might do something.
So pretty cool, simple, great for teaching and for curriculums in the classroom. Very cool.
All right. If you want to pick up anything, again, ESP Weather.
Check it out. Save 10% off.
This is like my break. Like, all right. ESP Weather. Okay. Let's go to the next thing. I guess that's it for what we're prototyping.
Yeah, you can take a look at this week's Shop Talk.
All right, this is where we talk about some new products, some new experiments, new materials, new printers that we're taking a look at. So this week, we're taking a look at the Ultimaker 3 dual extrusion. So let's go to that.
Yeah, so every Tuesday we have a time-lapse Tuesday. This week was the very awesome dual extruded Stormtrooper by Augustin.
Flolistic. You might know, if you don't know his name, you definitely know his work. He's created all the low polygon Pokemon and the Stormtrooper and Darth Vader low polygon. This time he revamped it for dual extrusion. So we tried this out on the Ultimaker 3. It took about 4 hours and a half to print this out. And we got this on the first try.
Yeah, which is, what's the first try?
Yeah, first try guy. Braille skateboard. So Pedro, tell us about slicing it. Was there any oddities in it? What did you
so usually we have to change around the default settings for inside of Cura for printing on the Ultimaker 3. This round, I set up all of the default parameters that are in the inside of Cura and just let it go, and it turned out phenomenal. I'm very impressed with this. That I didn't use any prime or wipe towers, whatever they want to call it. Yeah. And it came out phenomenal. It did take 4.5 hours to print, just because when the head moves over, it cools down, it lifts the head, and it goes back over to printing again. So that's definitely the way to go if your model is can handle not having to sort of make that extra prime tower to waste all that material. So it turned out really good. There's only 10% infill that was required just because of the joints that are on there. And the only flaw that came out of this is this little the arm part right here, and it's probably because it needed a dual extrusion offset, or the heads need to be recalibrated for that. So that's really the only thing you can kind of see right there. There's like a
floating
gap. Yeah. And even still, it
can you
did
get
a really
closer?
good job.
I have it set pretty close. Yeah, so you can see right through his arm joint. Look at that. Somehow it caught itself and it worked out. So yeah, a bit of a calibration issue. There is a built-in calibration script for dual extrusion on the Ultimaker 3, is that correct?
Yeah. Okay. So for people who are playing around with this, just keep in mind that before you make like a big dual extrusion print, you want to make sure that either your dual extrusion overlap is set to I want to say maybe 0.2 or 0.4.
Did you have that here?
I did not, and that's why it came out a little bit.
I don't think so. I
separated.
disagree because his other arm's fine.
Yeah, so it's either that or it's just a bed leveling issue. Yeah, because this is completely connected on there.
Yeah.
So one of those two things are the culprit for it not fusing together.
For the most part, it's successful. No contamination, no waste.
Very happy with the way this came out.
Great job.
And if you compare it like with something that would just be single color, I mean, it really brings it to life. Like you can see all the little details on there, and this just looks like it was forgotten. This looks like a little bit more dead than having it
the color, yeah.
full color.
Right.
So it's doing projects dual extrusion definitely makes a big difference in that. So we wanted to ask ourselves, okay, let's compare it to like something like the Sigma from BCN3D. What would that look like?
Let's run it. Here we go. What? Wrong one.
Wrong clip.
Is it this one? Yes, it's this one.
Yeah, so I downloaded the custom Cura program that they offer with their profile on there, and it came out a little oozy.
Oozy? A little hairy?
Yeah, a little hairy.
A little contaminated? Let's watch that again. So this is using default Cura profile in the...
The filament that came with the printer.
Does the BCN3D, do they offer their own version of Cura?
Yes, yes, it's a customized version of it. And
their
profile is already set inside there.
We're also using a 2.85 millimeter filament. This is the filament that actually came with the printer. So we don't think it's the filament. We don't think it's the profile. Oh, it has to be the profile settings, obviously.
So this wasn't actually the first test that I tried or attempted on this. I tried 175. I'm guessing because I was using PLA PHA, there was some retraction issues with that. So I was just like, all right, let me just use 2 millimeter. So it's just all the default. But I did have to increase the retraction from.
Oh no, I wasn't showing you guys. Sorry.
There you go. Take a look at that. Yeah, it is a little bit hairy when it printed, and this is with upping the retraction and the tool switch retraction as well from 6 to 10 millimeters, and it's still, and the temperature was at 190 degrees.
That's a little cold.
Yeah. I mean, compared to what we usually print, usually we're printing at 230, 240. So this is way cold compared to what we usually do. So again, it's not that the Sigma can't do really clean dual extrusion prints, because you switch over to the overhead.
Yeah.
It has done some phenomenal prints in the past.
Can you show us some details of this first, though?
Oh, yeah.
We didn't get a chance to.
So here's some of the hairy droopage parts of that.
There you go.
And again, this is no cleanup at all out of the printer. I'm sure it'll look a little bit cleaner if you
try
to clean that up.
So,
hand. Yeah.
Boy.
But it's still, infused in there a bit.
The extruders are independent from each other, and it did purge after every tool change. Is that correct? So there is waste. So even with waste and with it being independent from each other, it still managed to contaminate itself. Well, what's going on here?
And I do have that feature, the comb model feature, where it tries to stay away from the model so it won't contaminate it. Even with that turned on, it still managed to contaminate just a little bit. Well, on this model a lot, but we have seen it where it has been able to turn out a really good clean dual extrusion. It's just, it just goes to show that doing dual extrusion is really a per model thing. Just like everything else in 3D printing, you really have to fine tune and tweak things to get it perfect. I was just really surprised that for the Ultimaker, this was all default settings. There's absolutely no cleanup on this, and it came out really good.
Yeah.
Really should have did it at 150 microns for the face there. This is at 200
better,
microns, when it came out a little bit more cleaner. But like I was saying before, you can get really clean dual extrusion parts on the Sigma. In the past, we've shown off our little twisty top, and it was able to do a phenomenal job on that. On the NPR project, the Sigma was the only one that was able to print out the conductive filament with the protopasta.
Yeah, this is 175
and at 175 millimeter. Yeah. So again, it's one of those frustrating things where it's like, oh man, this profile that I used before on a different model worked perfectly, but it's not working, at all on this one.
Yeah, we still haven't had a successful print of the NPR
on the Ultimaker 3.
enclosure for the Ultimaker 3.
Yeah, it came out. I think you may have the video. It came out very.
I don't know.
There was so much contamination. For
There's
the
a little
Sigma,
bit here on the Sigma.
For the Sigma, yeah, that was the worst part of the contamination, but everything else is pretty perfect. There was a little bit of
a gap there.
A gap there.
Yeah. So again, this is conductive PLA, which is it's flexible. It's you have to print it a little bit colder, right?
And I actually had to use the 175 millimeter filament.
Yes.
For this because the 3 millimeter just would not print on either.
It would just
Sigma
grind. Constantly grind, no matter what setting we tried, it just kept grinding away.
I printed at 230, brittle. At 240. I started out at 200, and that just completely ground up. So the 175 millimeter filament for the protopasta conductive filament worked out the best. For some reason, the 3 millimeter filament for protopasta was super brittle. It would always break on both the Sigma and the Ultimaker.
Right.
Other tests that we've done before, the Sigma did this with their 3 millimeter filament that came with it. A little bit of contamination on that side there. The Ultimaker was able to do it really clean. So again, it's per model, per everything needs optimization, which
We will redeem you, Sigma BCN3D. Hey, how about printing NinjaFlex with the dual extruder? Who did this?
Yeah, so this was, again, the Sigma. It's able to do the original NinjaFlex.
Yeah, 175?
175? No, this is 3 millimeter, 3 millimeter. And it did a really good job of that. So it's one of those, pros and cons. If you're looking to do dual extrusion with NinjaFlex, go with the BCN. If you want to do like PVA and like different colors, do the Ultimaker.
So there's no printer that's perfect that does everything.
No, unfortunately.
It's frustrating.
Did a really good job on that.
Well, there's maybe a minor bit of contamination, just a teeny bit.
Well, you can live with the contamination if it's actually able to print it. So, because on the Ultimaker, all we could do is the Semiflex or the Cheetah filament, or their very own blend of the TPU, which feels very much like Cheetah. But on the Sigma, you're able to print all of it. And again, just goes to show, that it's per model. So these look pretty similar. Again, this is with just PLA and the 175 conductive filament with protopasta, and both of these came out really good. This one was with the Sigma, and this one was printed with the Ultimaker 3.
These are little battery testers. So in the core of the tweezer has conductive PLA, so we can actually light up an LED.
Yeah.
This is a little surface mount LED.
Those work out perfect. So this is one of the models that pretty universal. But between
so this will work
between
both printers.
Yeah.
Okay.
So again, it's just the model thing, optimization thing. But for this case, the celebration of the Rogue trailer came out.
Rogue One? Is it Rogue One?
Rogue One, yeah.
I think it's called Rogue One.
Wanted to.
So again, great shout out to Augustine.
Yeah, because it gets tiring printing the same test models that you designed on there. So it's nice to see other people designing really good test models for doing dual extrusion. And if you're wondering, because we were looking at past episodes to see if we've even talked about doing dual 175 on the Ultimaker. I'm still in the midst of trying to figure out the perfect settings for it. This is what I got so far. Doing 175 dual extrusion on the Ultimaker 3. I think I need to play with the retraction settings, and there are if you looked at the new Cura, there are there's always that advanced options. There's so many that you can dig through to look at things like pausing between the tool change. Maybe that's what I need to do, make it cool down a little bit more when it does that, and playing with the materials as well, because this is PLA PHA, which seems to be a little bit more droopy if you can see here, the gold was just regular PLA, and there wasn't any contamination of the gold on
PLA PHA is
the
no
TLA.
bueno for overhangs.
Yeah. I mean, it's excellent for like engineering parts if you need to be strong and flexible, but
Unless it has overhangs.
unless it has overhangs, yeah. But
A little bit stronger. Okay. Cool. Thanks for sharing that.
that is what's going on so far with more dual extrusion tests.
Yep. There are some, like Paige was saying, I got one last video I want to show you guys. This is doing a dual extruded unicorn horn on the Sigma using 175 diameter filament, PLA, and no prime tower, no ooze shield, no waste, and zero contamination. A little bit of a problem at the tip there, but look how clean that is. It came out really nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it just
Per
depends
model.
on...
It's not like we haven't got
model.
good prints on the Sigma. So
Yeah, it's vice versa for both.
Yeah, and for folks that are curious, we are planning on carrying the two printers, the Ultimaker 3s. They're actually in the shop already. We just haven't. We're still working on different things.
Yeah, there's a big rush on all of the other popular projects that are going out the door. So the shipping team and everybody who does the creation for that is all a little bit busy. It has their hands full over the holidays.
Yeah.
So they're there. They're just
shipping and fabricating. It is
Non-stop,
crazy.
yeah.
A clock that just doesn't stop. Yeah. All right. Well, Paige is going to comb the chat room and see if there's anything else. I'm going to queue up the next stuff here. The next segment is called Community Makes. This is the part of the show where we highlight projects from the community. You folks love to feature your stuff. If you guys have any projects that you want us to feature on the show and take a look at, please let us know. You can contact us on any of the social channels. You can email the support team, support@adafruit.com.
Yes, let's take a look at this week's project from our very own Dano Wall.
Yeah, check it out. This is from the very hot popular show, the HBO show called Westworld. I've been watching. I watched all of the 1 to 10. Spoiler alerts, if you guys, we'll talk a little bit about it. So this is the maze that is prevalent throughout the show. This is kind of the only kind of prop from the show that I think is iconic, that you'll know exactly what it is. Because it's that maze that the man in black is always looking, he's trying to figure out what it all means. And nobody made one yet, so Dano took it upon himself to make it. So he printed it out in magnetic iron PLA, and there's just some clips, or there's a screenshot from, I guess, Bernard playing with it.
Bernard/Arnold.
Yeah.
For you guys have been watching.
Yeah, no, it's cool though. I think it's really cool. So good job on that. I think it's pretty cool. Yeah, it's a great show. If you haven't seen Westworld and you have access to HBO, let's check it out.
Yeah, you were mentioning that it was one of the few shows that had any plot holes.
Yeah, I think so.
And then I remember mentioning, oh, well then how come nobody knew that, Arnold was Bernard? Like, there's no way that just two people built this whole world, that whole staff knowing, or maybe they were, told not to mention that to Bernard, but...
My rebuttal is that, well, they didn't open the park until Bernard was dead. So you're right. How do you not have a staff, a security staff, and a technical staff? You can't just have two people build a whole world, can you? Well, it's the future, and I don't know. What do you guys think? Let us know.
I like how they tried tricking you by combining two different timelines into one to make it seem like William wasn't,
I don't know. It doesn't look like
William.
anything to me. That's like what Bernard says. It doesn't look like anything to me. Or no, actually, I think it was, what's his name? I forget his name.
Yeah.
Somebody made it already.
Very cool.
He posted this, yesterday?
I think so. And I think I have seen one more model posted since then.
Right.
Very cool.
I was thinking about making it too, but I didn't have the time, so... Shout out to Dano. Again, Dano is lead fabricator at Adafruit.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Next up, we have a
check out Dano Wall on Instagram. He always posts a lot of great things on Instagram. So
you want to see some of the behind the scenes at the factory?
Yeah.
Check out his Instagram. Very cool.
Yeah.
And he's the mayor of
3D Hubs in New York. Great stuff. Cool. Next project is really useful if you guys use the Raspberry Pi camera module. This is like a little key ring that will adjust the focusing on the lens. So before, it has like it's kind of glued. It has a little bit of glue, so you have to kind of use like some like jeweler's tweezers and be very careful not to scratch the lens to like break the glue and twist so you can manually focus. Let's say you have like for example, for me, I have the Printerbot Play, and I have a little Raspberry Pi mounted to the bed itself because it moves with it, but it's too close to most objects, so I had to kind of manually adjust. And this is a little key ring that you print out and has the grooves that snap into the little notches on the camera module itself, and you just twist it. So I think that's cool. I haven't printed it out yet. I will do so. And yeah, this is a great little tool. I don't think anyone's done it yet, maybe? Anyway, it works with both of the Raspberry Pi, the older module and the newer one, I think. No, just the 2.1 version. Okay. Yeah, I think this is the Noir one. Not sure.
Yeah, no IR.
Okay, cool. So check that out if you haven't heard about it. And the last project I want to share is from David Watts. Check out David Watts on YouTube. He's got a great YouTube channel. There's a lot of great projects as well. So check this out. It's using an amp pulse sensor. So you put your finger over the LED, and it lights up a NeoPixel. And he very clever, where it's like a visualization of your pulse. So the heart splits it in two halves, and it's hollow, and then you put a NeoPixel inside of it so that it can diffuse LED and it illuminates the whole, the whole heart. I have heartbeat right now. How funny! And so it's just a cool visual project. I think a great use of the pulse sensor, the amp sensor. We also have it in the shop too, so if you want to check that out. So again, check out David Watts's YouTube channel. Subscribe. Good stuff. That's it.
Very quite witty. Likes the way he does
the
explanations.
Yeah, I love his style of video. It's great. Cool.
All right, let's go ahead and jump into this week's Q&A.
Q&A. Hello, Q&A. Hey, folks. How you doing?
Scroll up from the beginning here. When did I stop looking at the chat room? Sorry about that, guys. It's hard to show stuff off on camera and look at the chat room. Last I left off was... Let's see, Benji talking about embedding magnets for the shoelace holders.
While printing?
While printing, yeah. Actually, no, you came up with that idea to do that, but...
it's always easier to just put it in later.
Yes, these are neodymium magnets, so they are quite strong. Yeah, if you let them snap together from a long enough distance, they can break. So you do want to be careful with that. I did pinch myself, and they were just really close.
Huge.
It wasn't a big pinch; it was a little pinch, but enough to me to go, "Oh crap! I gotta be careful." She is also suggesting that we make a 1 millimeter between the magnets so they don't break. Really good idea. You can definitely take a look at the design files and add that in there if you like. Oh yeah, for the Christmas lights, the when you get to that one mode where it flashes really fast, yeah, you can. It can be bad for people with epilepsy.
A lot of the things at Disney do that, and I was a little bit curious about those. Like, why don't they know?
I know.
I don't know. And a lot of them are kind of static. They don't have RGB LEDs yet. They're not as cool, as NeoPixels.
Cover for the micro USB connector enclosure for outdoors. Somebody was mentioning to make it in NinjaFlex so that you can have like little flaps in NinjaFlex.
I think a live hinge would work very well. So you'd print the hinge out here, so it could cover. I've done that before with. I actually did that with the Octoprint rig enclosure.
Yeah. We have not used Flex Seal. Oh, does Flex Seal adhere well for parts? I don't think we've tried that before.
What is it called?
Flex Seal. Philip Moyer. That's about Flex Seal adhering.
Yeah, I haven't heard of that. Take a look.
Another comment from Benji talking about using ABS body and then NinjaFlex in the middle to protect the neodymium. That's a good idea.
What's the zooming issue?
Oh, probably when we were showing stuff on the close-up.
Oh, the cameras are awful at autofocusing.
Yeah.
Not much we can do about it. I've been manually focusing them all the time, which I try to do. Okay.
Let's see. A couple more. Simon is mentioning that, BCN needs to improve their profile for doing the dual extrusion. Yeah, if you check out github.com/adafruit/printer-profiles, you can look at all of the profiles for every printer that we've tested. We upload there, so you can check out some of the settings that we use for a lot of the projects.
Yeah, it's right over here. I'll have a link down below, but yep.
Chris,
github.com/adafruit/printer-profiles, capital P's, and yeah, we have Cura and Simplify 3D.
As well as for some of the printers that we don't have anymore, like the Simples, the Pluses, Printerbot Simple,
The Orion, the
Printerbot
Lulz
Plus.
Mini, the FlashForge. Your mileage will vary. I'll have to say.
It's what worked with us.
For that given project. Or whatever.
because we wanted to make sure we saved them, we tossed them up on GitHub just so we'd have records of that. Let's see, there was one more, or a couple more actually.
Shout out to Ian Mac. Hello, sir. Thank you for joining.
Oh, Chris Day is asking, what fraction of print attempts succeed?
Oh, like the ratio of like your yield
Prints
or
to
something?
failed. Yeah, the yield is.
It depends. Like this one, I got it right on the first try. Because well, not really. Maybe once you get like one part down, you're pretty good on it. But yeah, I don't know, like maybe 2 or 3 tries.
Yeah.
But it's always really tolerances. It isn't usually like, oh,
sizing
it clogged or something. No, it's usually just a tolerance issue that you have to adjust.
Kirby's mentioning that he's gone through 3 rolls of the 3mm conductive filament on his TAS with no issues. He's saying maybe direct drive is better for it not to grind. So I have noticed.
Bowden though. Oh, he's saying direct drive. Okay,
Yeah.
you're saying for the Bowden it's probably bad.
Yeah, I
Eek,
don't have a 3mm direct drive to test that anymore, but maybe you're right. Yeah, but I did notice that even when I would go to cut it, to do that 45-degree cut to feed into
There's
it,
air gaps in it or something.
there was air
right?
gaps, and then when I would cut it, it would like split apart, like down the middle. So maybe it's just I got a bad batch or something. Because
we only had one roll of it too.
yeah. So that's probably what it is. Maybe it dried out or something, or.
Thanks for the love, Ian.
Yep, Simon is mentioning that, you have to play a lot with settings for each model to make it work perfectly. And also that he is also designing the maze for Westworld.
Cool.
Yeah, so I have not seen somebody put the little marble thing on it, so maybe design it, show the video of it like working.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
With acrylic top or something.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, well.
Let's see what other
I need to take some medicine.
I know. So many questions
It's
this week.
much.
Kevin is mentioning that the Printerbot Simple printers aren't as simple as they used to be. So we are still awaiting somebody to make, or actually no, somebody did. They made a plugin for exporting a Cura G-code that can be uploaded. You mentioned it. There was a plugin for Cura that would let you export the Printerbot Simple 2016.
I think you're right. I think it's on. I think Brooke tweeted it out to somebody, to Lewis, I believe. There wasn't a link. I'll look more into it. But right now we're kind of on hold of it because the things we want to print really require fine-tuned settings. But other than that, I mean, it's a great quality machine.
Yeah, we need to be able to do custom support.
Yeah, we just really need to have the ability to slice with our slicer, our slicer. So there you go.
Ian is asking for a shout out. Did I hear you shout out already?
Yeah. Is it Ian or Ian? I apologize.
Ian, sorry. And let's see. What do you suggest for a snap enclosure where the top is flat on the bed?
Oh.
Suggestions for a snap enclosure where the top is flat on the bed. Depends what's going. The electronics are going to go on there. And
all of them are flat on the bed. You just turn it upside down. I'm not sure I understand the question.
I mean, the snap parts are at a 45-degree angle, so they should be able to print with no supports. That should work fine.
Yes. Yep. And again, check out the layer by layer tutorial if you haven't
Stuart's mentioning that he's noticed that some of the Ultimaker filaments tend to grind. Maybe check the tension on the back. I usually have it set to just the middle.
Okay.
Works just fine. That's like the default how it comes into. And Benji's saying that the texture is on the outside, so it won't print upside down.
Curvy. The maze isn't for us. It's not meant for us.
It's funny, yeah. It's like a little mini game for the characters.
Yeah. It was just made so, yeah.
Do we ever have any humidity problems? No. We usually keep the house around
75.
73
Never
degrees.
goes any higher than that.
Yeah.
So I think we're fine. And we have what do you call them? The air purifier thing. What is it called?
Oh yeah. The
So
heptafilter.
Heptafilters.
Purifier.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Shout out to Ian again. He's 13 years old and wants to be like us when he's older. Yeah, just keep designing. That's probably the most important thing. Design away. Look for problems that could easily be solved with simple adapter, holder. Make something, remake something that you see like on like with cosplay. Like
and be open to sort of change, because before 3D printing, of course, we were doing other things, but we always were designing.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah, learn video, learn hair, forehead. And I'm looking at the computer to read all the comments.
Yeah, they're right here too.
Oh no, because I'm scrolling up.
Right.
Which being shown videos on the chats.
Again, don't forget the shipping deadlines. We got a coupon code. Don't forget about later today. We have more shows. If you have a project or you have something, even if it's just like a plan or sketches or something, you can come on the show and tell. We'd love to chat with you guys and show off your projects. With the World, it happens tonight at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. It's of course Wednesday, and then after that we have a full hour of Lamar and Phil called Ask an Engineer, where you can ask your engineering questions.
We'll take a look at status of the company, what's going on with all of the new boards that
Open source news, Raspberry
is
Pi,
working on,
Arduino, and more.
My favorite is our moving over to the SAMD chip. So everything like the Gemma, the Trinket, the M0 boards, everything's all going to be MicroPython. If you guys have not been following along, it's so cool. We're able to program, and right now with Arduino, as you compile your program, it's like completely lost. Like there's no way to get that code back. It turns it into like, what is it, bytecode or whatever?
That's right.
And there's no way to see edit the code. So with MicroPython, you're able to just plug it in like a USB drive.
You can see what the code is. That's a big deal.
Imagine that you could like take, I don't know, your remote control, plug it in through USB, and look at all of the code that is making everything function. It's such a mind-blown, type of.
It really is.
I can't believe everything's not like this right now.
Also, the return from the desk of Lady Ada,
where she's talking about actually building all the circuits for all of this. So definitely check that out if you want to. If you're interested in
live
learning
engineering,
more about
folks.
that. Very
Learn,
awesome.
Indulge.
Yep.
Hit it up in the chat. They do it kind of late night, which is interesting.
Yeah, sometimes a little bit too late for us. We're like, I'm going to bed.
I'll
and
watch
start
it.
streaming.
And it's like, go sleep. Yeah,
But
so great job.
Definitely worth a
guys.
rewatch. Yeah.
And Tony D, of course. Check out Tony D. He streams live on Twitch, and then he uploads it later on YouTube. But check him out. I think it's every Tuesday and Friday.
Yeah.
Schedule's
Definitely worth a watch if you want to take a look at. Last episode was on how to build a little web page. Definitely took us back to the day when we were doing web design.
Yeah, a little web page to control ESP8266 powered, MicroPython powered holiday lights for his reef. So really cool project, very timely. Great stuff.
And remember, if you guys like the show, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, share it, along
We
with
do appreciate it.
aspiring
Let us know.
engineers or students. For this year, we're really looking at the growth in all of the social channels at G+. Looks like we're about to hit 305 million views on there.
Is this like the state of the fruit?
Of the social media channels, yeah.
Numbers, more.
On Twitter, we're hitting, or surpassed 115,000 followers. On YouTube, before this year ends, looks like we're going to hit 200,000 subscribers. On Instagram, we're nearing 45,000 followers, and on Facebook, 75,000 likes. So thank you all for liking, sharing on all the social media channels.
We really do appreciate it. It means a lot.
Yep.
This is how you're watching.
We're all funded by you guys buying stuff. So if you want to support the channel, definitely take advantage of that coupon code every week. And
Devil's Advocate's like, well, I would if you had them in stock. It's like, we're working hard on it. We apologize. Thank you guys. Again, we really appreciate it. And good luck with all your maker endeavors. That's going to be it for it. That's going to be it for us. Again, we're on Wednesdays now. That's why we have a little thing crossed out.
Blog posts still, though, are on Thursday.
Yeah, we might change it. We might not. I think I like it on Thursdays. Gives us an extra day to
find all the stories to post, All right, guys.
Bye, guys.
Great one.
We'll see you guys next week. And cut.